There has been a huge update regarding Cody and Satori and that entire debacle, which, to be fair, I don't even know how it's still going on, but they've agreed to do what everyone has been asking them to do for the longest time. The controversy surrounding Cody and Satori has died down over the past week or so, and the paranormal community seems to have moved on to the next controversy. But last night at the time of recording, Cody and Satori were part of a live stream interview on the YouTube channel Dead Air Full Spectrum, and they spoke about the controversy for the first time since the video that they uploaded to their YouTube channel almost a month ago. The video, Dead Air Doubleheader, John Zaffis, Cody Desbians and Satori Hawes, was broken down into two 1 hour long segments. For the first hour it was an interview with John Zaffis, and the second hour was dedicated to Cody and Satori, which delivered some very interesting talking points. Ever since this all kicked off a few weeks ago, all that the naysayers have been saying is that Cody and Satori should show their method without shoes on to prove that what they're doing is legit. This was actually one of the first things that was posed to Cody and Satori when the host asked.
One of the things that I'll let you guys answer seems to be, and I'm getting a lot of this, we got a little bit of it tonight. Why won't you just do it barefoot? Why won't you just, do this? And somebody in a comment said today, that's the least you can do. Like, I'm not sure what you owe anybody. But I got a thought on it, but, why don't you guys respond to what seems to be the big request for you guys, and I don't know.
To which Satori responded with,
yeah, so we've gotten so the video we did, the more recent YouTube videos we did, we've been doing this so long, for multiple years now. I mean, a couple years before we even made it public. We have done it in all sorts of ways. We have done our knocking method without shoes on in the presence of other people and by ourselves. We've done that. I think we're getting a lot of that because this is the first biggest video we've had, and we've never really, just to be completely honest with you, we've never really gotten that, that recommendation before. People have never looked at us on an investigation so far and told us, take off your shoes and do it. So I think it's just one of those things where we've done it, and we've done it with shoes on, so it was not something in our head that we were really working on with, that specific YouTube video we were on. I think if people positively recommend that into the future, we can do that. It's one of those things where it's just like, that's just the last video we've done. So it's not that we're not doing more into the future, it's just that's the last video we've done, So I think positively pushing these recommendations into the future. And then Cody is then encouraged to share his thoughts about this.
Right.
Cody, you want to say something on that? Go ahead.
Yeah, it's one of those things where that's one of the things that doesn't come across good on a two-dimensional video. When you're there in person, the reason why we haven't really done it is because it's not really an option when the noises are coming from around the room. You know what I mean? So it's never made sense to even think about that. But like Story said, we have done it in the past, just because
it's just so normal for us,
walking around with our friends, in our slippers or in socks or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's something that I'm sure we'll do in the future.
But we have to reinforce the point that if we do without shoes on our method of communication, I think there's going to be positive response and again negative response. There are going to be people that look at it and come up with new explanations, so there's going to be good that comes from it, and it's just going to continue people wanting to find another answer for it as well. It's just something we can do it in the future. It's just something, positive recommendations to move on with.
Yeah.
After this, John Zaffis talks about how the duo helps spirits to get messages across. And because this is the first time that they've ever really been in the limelight this big, they're being highlighted and made an example of. Ken, the host, then goes on to ask the pair what they have for the future, and before they answer, Satori doubles down on their previous message about how they are open to skepticism and how they embrace it.
What's in your future now, beyond this? What are you looking forward to? What is it that you want to do going forward? with all this stuff. So, guys, please.
Well, to start with, kind of expanding on your points a bit, both of you, when first came, these YouTube videos came out and there was so much attention, we'll be completely honest with the public and saying that when we were getting the good, it was good. And when we started seeing the controversy, my brain and Cody's brain, we kind of looked at this and we were like, you know, it's okay to be skeptical. It's okay to have a difference of opinion. It's okay to not believe. And we were seeing some of this and we were like, that's not, you know, like you kind of get a little frustrated in your mind because you're like, that's not how what I said, it's being interpreted wrong, or they're doing this and that doesn't mean that's what we're doing. And you get kind of frustrated. And honestly, there were points where we were like just so overwhelmed with both sides of it. And we were thinking to ourselves, like, you know, this is why we kept it a secret for so long. This is why we didn't. And I can see why some people wouldn't admit that they can do some weird things and things like that. And now we've gotten to a point where we were like, wait, that's not the goal. That's not what we're doing. The purpose is not to try to get out there as much as possible and try to prove ourselves as some big famous mediums, because we don't even really call ourselves mediums. We don't know what we're doing. We're still figuring it out. So it's like, we're like, that's not the purpose of what we're doing. We need to get back onto who, you know, what we are meant to do, who we're meant to be, and we're sitting here and we're like, that's all we want to do is help people. So our goal for the future is just to, you know, whether it's a private case, whether it's recorded on something, who cares? We're just helping people. That's what we've always done, and we want to continue to do that because that's the only purpose we feel that we have what we have. The spirits all have their own personalities. Sometimes they want to be playful. Sometimes they want to, you know, get a message across to a bunch of people. Right. And a lot of the time it's just kind of private interaction, you know?
Satori then goes on to talk about their goals for the future.
We're not just doing it for YouTubers and for on the internet. We just feel like there are messages to people that, you know, there are messages to people that have nothing. There are messages to people that have everything they could ever want. There's messages to all those people in between. It doesn't matter who you are, you might get a message, you know? Yeah. So
the way I look at this now from a selfish perspective of somebody like myself.
What's really interesting though is what comes next. When Ken talks about an audio mistake that he made and how he came out to admit to his mistake, it sparks George, another host, to say that even if debunkers saw Cody and Satori doing their method in the flesh, they still wouldn't be satisfied because it would mean that they then have nothing to make videos about. And that would then mean that they would, quote, be afraid of losing viewers and likes.
It won't. No, not in social media nowadays. Again, all these accusations that are going on. If they were to visit or meet up with Cody and Satori and they did it right there in front of them, they are afraid of losing viewers. They are afraid of losing the likes, their fan base. So they're going to continue to perpetuate.
After this comment, George asked Cody and Satori about their, quote, end game. To this, the pair replied,
it's up to, at the end of the day, whatever your opinion you have is your opinion. Whatever you post about us, that's your opinion. For whatever reason, it's absolutely your opinion. We are not going to personally go out of our way to do this for every content creator or every, you know, channel that's dedicated to this or something like that, because it takes a lot out of us to do it even once in one sitting, and then just to like keep doing it and keep going out of our way and keep stressing to try to prove something that some people may not believe no matter what. I think if we are to continue with, you know, being analyzed and doing and, you know, being watched and things like that, if we are to, I would want to do it with somebody that has a lot of credibility, like, you know, certain institutions or scientific kind of things that are more in like a controlled private setting rather than a camera in my face telling me to do certain things. I think that would be a lot more helpful. That's my constructive idea on that.
Yeah, and we never sought out to prove to, you know, a skeptic or a cynic that you know the paranormal is real by, you know, our method. I mean, we found out we had this weird thing that we could do, and you know, our first thought is how can we use this to people that are scared or you know need closure, And you know, what's been working for us is just doing this for people that cross our paths naturally, and giving them the message. And if it makes sense and sits with them, then that's great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. And then moving on to the next person. So that's the way we've always done it, and that's the way we'll continue to do it. And you know, it just is what it is. You know, and unfortunately, we're in this game now where you know, views are a big thing, and monetization is a big thing, and you know, you kind of hook on to whatever's trending in social media now. So I think, you know, we just need to keep doing what we're doing and stay on that track. And everyone else, if you want to follow us along, that's fine. If you don't, that's okay.
The rest of the interview is then spent answering viewer questions and not regarding any of the controversy. Of course, what you're seeing here is not the full interview, though the entire video is an interesting watch. So if you'd like to see it for yourself, you can view it on Facebook using the link in the description. The video was also on YouTube but has since been removed for reasons that we aren't aware of. But what do you make of this podcast interview type thing? Really interesting, and it sparked a lot of talking points and questions actually that have been posed to the pair that have been just going across the internet like wildfire over the past few weeks, especially about just doing the method without their shoes on. It was, you know, it was something that I wasn't expecting the hosts to actually ask, because they did seem very buddy-buddy and very friendly with each other, so I didn't know if they wanted to kind of garner into that territory and put them on the spot like that. But Cody and Satori were down for it. They were like, yeah, don't forget, this is the first time that we've ever been on this bigger scale of YouTube videos. We plan to do things in the future, and we'll absolutely show it. They do have their own YouTube channel, so they might even show it over on there as well, just to prove that what they're doing is legit, and that it would literally just shut down the naysayers completely if they just did it barefoot. Like, the naysayers would literally have nothing to say. But what do you guys think about it? Let me know down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions. I can't believe that this is still going on. This whole Cody and Satori situation is utterly madness that we are, what, almost 5-6 weeks after Hell Week, and it is still being talked about so heavily. Madness, absolute madness. But it was good to hear from Cody and Satori, because obviously they did go very quiet after their own video. But like I say, I want to hear your thoughts and opinions. Let me know down in the comments below. While you're down there, you know what to do. Jump to get the hell out of that like button if you have enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and tickle my little bell so you get notified whenever we upload. And until next time, guys, I hope that you've enjoyed, and I'll speak to you later. Peace.